If you're out in the wild and accidentally dig a 2.5-meter deep hole, and right in the hole, there's a half-ton unwanted doghead gold nugget that you definitely can't lift with your bare hands. But luckily, you have this little thing in your pocket. You can put it together, tie the gold with a rope, and then just slowly turn the handle. The half-ton gold will be lifted up, and if you let go of the handle, it stops right away. I bet you're wondering how it works. Forget about the gold for a moment and look at this amazing mechanism. Its structure is very simple. A drum connected to a large gear and a small gear, then a ratchet wheel with two pawls, and on both sides of the ratchet wheel, there are friction plates and washers. Everything is connected by an input shaft that is turned by the handle. So how does it go up when you turn forward, go down when you turn backward, and stop when you stop turning? The key is how the small gear is connected to the input shaft. The small gear is not fixed tightly on the shaft. Instead, it is screwed onto the threads of the input shaft in a clockwise direction. Think of the small gear as a nut, and the input shaft as a screw. The small gear is stuck to the large gear to multiply the force, so friction keeps the small gear almost fixed in place. When you turn the handle clockwise to lift the load, it's like turning the screw while the nut stays still. The whole screw, input shaft, has to move to the right. On the left side of the small gear, there is a raised collar. As the shaft moves right, this collar pushes the small gear to the right. The small gear then presses the friction plates tighter and tighter against the ratchet wheel. Finally, the friction becomes strong enough to turn the ratchet wheel and lift the load. When you stop turning the handle, the pawls lock into the ratchet wheel and stop it from turning backward. That's how the load stays hanging in the air. When you want to lower the load, you turn the handle counterclockwise. Again, the small gear stays almost fixed, so the screw, input shaft, moves a tiny bit to the left. This slight movement loosens the friction plates just enough so they start to slip. The ratchet can no longer hold the load, and the load slowly goes down while you keep turning. The moment you let go of the handle, the weight of the load tries to pull everything backward. This force makes the small gear try to turn clockwise on the threads. As a result, the input shaft is pulled a tiny distance to the right again. The friction plates are squeezed tightly against the ratchet wheel once more. Sliding friction instantly becomes static friction. The ratchet is locked, and the load stops safely. Congratulations, you've just invented a hand-cranked winch.